morning, everybody. Welcome to Board Game Breakfast. I'm Tom Vasel. I'm glad to have you all with me today. So we got a couple things. It's exciting. You know that we just had our countdown, right? That was for those of us, I'm sorry, this is not going to work for Europeans, but for those of us in America, it was April 3rd, so that was 4, 3, 2, 1. So the countdown. Now, you already did that when it came to March 4th, I think, but over in Europe. Anyhow, it was interesting. I like dates. We're going to run out of interesting things to do with dates eventually, but next year, February 2nd. But anyway, I'm getting off track here. Kickstarter. So we ran a Kickstarter earlier this year, and we have opened up the Pledge Manager on GameFound to all the people who've backed that. If you did not get it at this point in time, email us at kenny@dicetower.com to make sure that, you know, why you haven't got your invitation to GameFound. If you missed our Kickstarter and want to be involved and want to back stuff, it's going to be open to everybody starting tomorrow. So tomorrow, go to dicetowerkickstarter.com if you want to get some of the things, but you want to do it sooner rather than later because we're going to be closing it down eventually. We have to order dice towers and dice and things from the different companies. So that's that. We are also running a contest. This episode is sponsored by Machikoro, by Pandasaurus, and we're talking about Machikoro. Now, right behind me here, you see Machikoro Legacy, but I'm talking about Machikoro, the second edition, which is coming out this year. So we're going to be giving away 3 copies of that to people who live in USA, Canada, or Australia. To enter this contest, you just need to email us at contest@dicetower.com, and in the subject line, put the word FOOL. Why is that there? Because there was an April Fool's joke from Pandasaurus about Machikoro where they talked about a life-size Machikoro, which would just be a normal city. And that's the joke. So the question that we have that you need to answer is how many people are in that life-size Machikoro announcement? Maybe it wasn't a joke. Maybe there is a life-size Machikoro. So email us at contest@dicetower.com. Fool is your subject. In the description, in the body of your email, answer that question. How many people are in that life-size Machikoro announcement? Alrighty, well, let's get started. We got a couple contributors, and here we go.
Hi, it's Taryn.
And Stella from Meeple University and the Dice Tower. Today, Taryn is going to share his fun experience.
An absurd amount of luck, and you play enough board games that have enough random elements in it, you're going to have stories to tell about the things breaking the odds. And yesterday we played this new Rio Grande game, Blue Skies, and it's a game where you're putting gates out into the US airlines and passengers are turning up, and you will play cards to determine where the passengers will go. And on any given turn, when you place passengers, you draw from this bag, and as soon as you get a red cube, you stop. And because there's 100 red cubes and 25 green cubes, most of the time you're going to be placing one passenger. There's really only 1 in 5 chance at the start until you've taken a lot of reds out. And we were getting a lot of reds on the board. There weren't that many greens. And then one time we started placing passengers in LA and drew 7 green cubes in a row.
Wow. Out
of what must have been, by that point, 70 red cubes and 20 green cubes in the bag. We somehow drew 7 green cubes in a row.
Oh, wow. Oh, time to buy that lotto. Bye. No, I'm kidding.
It's one of those, like, that's something that you wouldn't put that in a high school mathematics test because the number you would come up with as a probability would be too low for the modern slide rule.
So that is it. Our unbelievable luck. Have you had any experience with very lucky or very unlucky even? Let us know in the comment sections. And we are Meeple University on YouTube and the Dice Tower. See you next time.
Bye.
Gotta say, that game does not look amazing when laid out on the table like that. Looks like Terrence was doing his accounting homework there. Alrighty, so what's coming from the Dice Tower this week? Well, as soon as this show's over at 10 o'clock today, Z's doing the What's Happening, where he plays an app. And we got lots of different reviews coming up. Cupcake Academy by Stealth and C. And tomorrow I'll be continuing my series, 5 More Great Games. And me and the girls will be reviewing Bullet from Level 99. Also, Shoots and Marbles is back tomorrow. Yeah! So I'm excited about that. Now, I'm going to be reviewing several games this week. I want to be clear on that because it's not going to feel like I am. I'm going to be taking a look at Inklings and Cheese Thief, King of 12, that beautiful game Dive, and Monster Box. But also I'm taking a look at Marvel United, like a lot. If you don't like Marvel United, then you can skip all those videos and watch my other ones. But I'm taking a look at 6 expansions, all 6 expansions for Marvel United. I'm doing 11 videos where I'm ranking every hero and villain from Marvel United. And as a 4 Squares review, we're going to review Marvel United again with the looking back at it, saying, what is it? How does we reviewed the game when it first came out, but now we're reviewing it with all this extra stuff that exists. Has that changed our opinion? Well, to some degree it has. I can tell you that right now. So we'll be talking about that. But again, there's lots of other things. We got live board game breakfast, crowd surfing on Wednesday. So there's other things happening this week. So keep an eye out for them. Alrighty, let's keep moving.
Hey there, I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And this is Love to Hate. And today we're going to tell you what a non-gamer thinks about Taco Cat spelled backwards from Exploding Kittens. In Taco Cat spelled backwards, 2 players are going to receive cards with numbers between 1 and 12 on them. The start player will get to attack by playing generally a high card, and the other player will have to defend by playing an equal or higher card. If they are not able to, then they have to play their lowest card. But if they successfully defend themselves, then they get to be the attacker next, and the player who started the round will have to defend themselves. This continues until players are left with 1 card each. Whoever's card is lower wins the round and moves Taco Cat 1 step closer to their goal. The previous spot Taco Cat was on is covered up, and for the rest of the game, Taco Cat will skip over that space. The player who moves Taco Cat to their goal wins the game.
All right, so here we go. We've got Taco Cat spelled backwards, which is just a funny name in general. But this is kind of a war type game, Sam, where you're playing cards trying to have the highest, but at the end of the round, you want to have the lowest card. That's a little off.
Yeah.
What do you like about Taco Cat spelled backwards?
I mean, the palindromes, the words spelled backwards and forwards.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty funny. Overall, it's a very easy game. It's fast. It's a lot of fun. I feel like there's a lot of luck in it. Lance may disagree with me on that one, but you don't have to know a lot before you play it.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you on it. I think it was a little less luck-based than what I initially thought just reading the rules, but there is still a lot of luck involved in this game.
I think it's a great little game to just take around with you and play with anybody who's willing to.
Okay, all right, there you go. Scale of 1 to 10, love to hate. What do you give it?
I'd probably give it a 7.8.
Wow, 7.8. For Sam, I'm Lance, and this was Love to Hate.
Hi, I'm Ambie, and today I'm going to talk about Lantern, a solo adventure roll and write game. In Lantern, you're going through 8 different zones trying to defeat monsters to ultimately defeat a dragon in the 8th zone. Each zone you roll 6 dice, and then you use abilities to modify the dice in order to get the roll that you need in order to defeat the monsters. At the beginning of the game, it's kind of like a role-playing game. You set which abilities you get by rolling dice and then assigning each die roll to abilities. The abilities are things like magic spell or critical hit, but they're different things that you can do to dice, like add 1 or subtract 1 from a die roll, or flip it over, or re-roll a die. The number you roll at the beginning and set to the ability is how many of that ability you can use throughout the whole game. So you're trying to use the fewest number of abilities each time in order to defeat the monsters. As you defeat monsters and level up in the game, you can get a couple more abilities, but you're still limited in the amount you have, so you need to conserve your abilities to defeat the dragon at the end. Since you're trying to use the fewest number of ability points throughout the game, it's fun deciding whether you want to risk a reroll on a die or spend 2 ability points in order to move the die face twice. Lantern is a simple game with not too many decisions, but it's quick and fun to play, and you'll want to keep playing to get a high score and defeat that dragon. Bye!
Hey everybody, all right. Is anyone else mesmerized by the artwork in the back of Ambie's thing? I keep looking at it. I want to see it closer up. But let's talk about what I found on the internet this week. So this week I'm talking about BoardGameGeek.com, but specifically about the BoardGameGeek.com store. Now, this is a bit self-serving, but also not. So let me explain. So the BoardGameGeek.com has a store that you can go to, and they sell all kinds of things, promos for different games, but also they've been selling those upgrades to games, which if you haven't seen them are really amazing. I mean, everyone likes the Quedlinburg upgrade pieces. In fact, I have a hard time remembering how to play the game without them. But they make upgrade pieces for Twilight Struggle and for all different games. And you can see they add some each week, each month. But what I'm going to be doing here on the channel is, starting next week, probably, on Board Game Breakfast, is I'm going to show you some of the stuff from the store. They're going to be sending me pretty much everything, and I'm just going to show it to you a little bit. Now, there's a couple reasons for that. One, I find it fascinating. I like to look at stuff like that and talk about it. But two, the Dice Tower we're sending all of our old promos from not this Kickstarter, but previous Kickstarters and things like that. We're going to be sending those to the Board Game Geek Store. You can already get some of them on the Board Game Geek Store, but the rest will be there too. And that way, it's all in one place. You can get the Board Game Geek stuff and the Dice Tower stuff in the same place. So I thought that would be interesting. But this is like a kind of a cool thing. If you know somebody who's a diehard gamer, maybe this is the gift you can get for them. Got to feel out if they have it, but you know, if they have one of the games there, buy them the upgraded components. They'll love you for it. They're also, I have found when I've ordered from them in the past, they have a pretty quick turnaround there. So my mic is scratching. Well, sorry about that. Don't know why. That's better. Sorry. Anywho, that's what I want to talk about this week. The BoardGameGeek.com Geek Store. Lots of cool stuff, but we're going to be showcasing a lot of that stuff in the weeks to come, and probably on a somewhat permanent basis on Board Game Breakfast. Let's keep going.
Hi, I'm Tim,
I'm Lizzie.
and we are To Play,
Or not.
To Play, a show about board games for two players.
Whose tastes may differ.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning. Welcome back to our top 10 games we like to play together.
Yeah.
We're up to number 8 now.
8.
That's exciting. Number 8 is Carpe Diem.
Carpe Diem.
Seize the day, everybody.
Yeah,
Great game. Ancient Rome, which we love. We're already on to a winner already.
yeah.
2 to 4 player game. Stefan Feld. All good, all good. And you're building a Roman city.
Yeah, you're trying to improve your little district, basically, and the one that does it the best gets the most victory points and wins.
Yeah.
Brilliant game. It's very simple.
Simple for me.
Yeah, and complicated for me. So it's a weird thing. Very clever man, this Stefan Feld.
Great.
Basically plays in two phases. One is like you move your Meeple, which is a patrician. You move him around a little space and claim tiles that you grab into your building section, and you build those into buildings and areas where you claim goods. And then there's a second phase where you go to the forum and you trade goods, and you're trying to trade goods for victory points and so on.
Yeah.
And you play those two phases 4 times through. Game done. One with the most victory points wins. It's such a
And you get little
simple...
chickens. And you get little fish that I love.
Or with the chickens.
I love the little chickens.
I'm going to get you a chicken.
Yeah, and it's really good. It's in our top 10.
She didn't hear me.
What did you say?
I'm going to get you a chicken.
Don't get me a chicken. Roast chicken.
Yeah.
It's a really good game that meets us both really well.
Yeah, it does actually.
And I imagine it going higher and higher in the top 10.
Yeah, we've only just got this
playing
game recently, so the fact that it's number 8 in our games we get to play together that we love is pretty good. So this is going to get to number 1 or 2, I reckon, pretty soon. Wow!
Big talk.
Still, we'll see what's to beat later on in the series. Okay, thanks guys. Nice to see you again, and we'll see you on the next breakfast.
This is a segment where we take a board game based on an IP, and I tell you if the game mechanics and the IP fit together, and whether it's a game you should check out or not. Today we're looking at Shimmer and Shine. This is a children's game based on the hit Nickelodeon television show Shimmer and Shine. And in this game, the little ones will be working cooperatively to move around the board to collect things in order to win the game. Now the game is a spin and move, so the kids will be spinning and moving, which is fine for younger gamers, and there's enough decisions here that it will whet their appetite, especially if they're fans of the IP. You do get 4 different characters to be, so if you want to be Shimmer or Shine, or the secondary characters, you can definitely be any of these in the game, so that brings the IP in. So the game will start on this side of the board, and you will advance to this side of the board. Very easy. On your turn, you spin the spinner, move that number of spaces. If you land on one of the gems pieces, you simply take one of the gems, and you put it on your magic carpet. If you land on the bottle, you will flip this over, boom, you can choose any one you want, or you lose one of the gems that you've already collected. If you land on the friendship spaces, then you give a gem to a friend. Once you collect all 4 gems on this side of the board, you now move to this side of the board. And what you're trying to do here is place jewels on her genie thing here, one of each color, in order for the players collectively to win the game. If you land on one of these spaces with the shimmer and shine, then you will be able to give a jewel to somebody else. If you land on this spot, you will be able to flip this over. If it's on the Boom Zaharame side, you add a gem here. If you land on the Oops side, you take a gem off your magic carpet, you put it on the Oops. If you fill up the Oops, you lose the game. If you fill up the genie bottle, you win the game. So this kind of gives you the feel of Shimmer and Shine a little bit, in the fact that it's a cooperative game and the players are all working together, and you have all of the player tokens that are in it. That IP does come across. You have the 2 different worlds that you're working together, and there is no bad guy. There's just a losing scenario here. That fits the IP pretty well. If you're into the IP, I think that you'll enjoy this quite a bit. It is a good fit.
Don't judge me yet. I very much abhor cheating in games, particularly, mostly when you're playing other people, right? I don't like that at all. You should play the same level of playing field as everybody else. But I would say ever since video games came out, and I started playing those in the 90s, and I found out there was a thing called a cheat code, I definitely have used those in my life. Now, yes, they do make the game sometimes less fun because you get too powerful. But sometimes I just wanted to go through in God mode and blow everybody up in whatever the game was. And so there's that cheat code. But I never felt like I was a cheater in that sense. I was just using a code to get something cool and do something fun. I was modifying the game. Well, this happens a lot in cooperative games. Particularly, I'm talking here about solo games. So I've been playing more solo games than I used to. In fact, a good chunk of my weekend this week was some solo gaming here. And I've been playing a lot of Marvel United. So I played Marvel United, and a scenario came up where the villain on the very first turn moved, landed on all my heroes, instantly did 2 damage to all of them. And I said, yeah, that didn't happen. And restart it. I'll take the loss. But I go back and restart because I did not want to have to struggle out of that pit on the very first turn and just run into all those kinds of problems. And that's quote-unquote cheating there, but to me it's not. That's one of the things that happens. That doesn't happen often. Like anytime the bad guy does something to me. I was playing another game, a big campaign game, with a story-driven game, and at one point I came up on a really weak monster, and I was like, oh, I got this. I rolled, and the monster killed me, and I said, now we're redoing that whole situation. I go back and replay the whole game up to that point, just because I wanted to keep having fun, and even though the rules of the game said that I'm dead, and you got to do this and this and this, I was like, nah, I just don't want that to happen, because I want my story to be an epic and fun story. Now, people are going to have different opinions on this for sure. Some people will be really upset that I would even consider doing that sort of thing. But it doesn't bother me. I'm there to have fun. I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone lately because the new set came out. I would not do this to a human opponent. If I play a human opponent and they start whooping on me, you take your beating. But if I'm playing a computer opponent and they are destroying me utterly and completely and I can't come back, I just end the game. I concede, I restart, whatever it is, so I can try to get into a better position in the next one. So that could be considered cheating. And like I said, this happens in these solo cooperative games. I'm not trying to just win, and I'll take a loss in a cooperative game, but when it's an incredibly bad stroke of luck that is essentially game ending, I have no problem missing it or redoing it. The other thing is when I'm playing a cooperative game and I miss something earlier and I'm like, oh, I should have done this earlier in the game. Now, when that happens in a competitive game, sometimes we'll go, oh, well, here's your extra thing you should have gotten earlier, or you got too many things, we'll take one away, that evens it out. In a cooperative game, I go, meh. It is what it is. Yeah, we made a mistake. Maybe it gave us a slight advantage here at this point in time. It doesn't bother me. But I am curious what you all think. Let me look what the comments are saying in this thing here. Mike is having a positive influence on Tom. Okay, so Mike's made me a cheater. I guess I know you're talking about solo gaming. I've done this when playing solo in Spirit Island with the events cards, since I usually like them, but sometimes they're brutal. You know, I felt like this today during Valley of the Kings, but I chose to take the bullet like a man or a woman. Well, sure. But sometimes, to me, there's a cascading negative effect thing. And sometimes, like, there might be one card in the deck that's really terrible, and you draw it the first part of the game. And then you realize it's going to really hamper and make the rest of your game experience unfun. Some of you may like that struggle to come out of this. Yes, I have a broken leg for the rest of the game. I personally don't do that. I'll just say, oh, I lost that game in my head, and I'll restart and do it over again. Especially when if I'm really far into the game sometimes too, but not quite to the end. So, yeah, I don't know. This is like a thing that I think a lot of people... It says you're just introducing time travel into the game so you can reset. Yeah, sure. I get that. But I'm playing solo. I'm wanting to have a fun time. What does it matter? No one's going to get upset. I don't wake up at night and the game box is leaning over me going, "You cheated." No, that doesn't happen. I don't even have dreams about it. I don't even feel guilt about it. Like, I don't sit there and going, oh, man. I mean, unless... I guess if I was going online and bragging about how I always beat a game, but I was cheating every time to do so, then yes, hold me accountable. But when I'm losing a lot and I just want to have a bit more fun or get a little bit farther in the game, I don't mind cheating, but only against the game.
Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. In the board game hobby, we get very caught up in the new games coming out.
Cult of the new, cult of the new.
I think it's worth going back and checking out some games you might have missed along the way, and one such game I highly recommend is Catacombs. Catacombs is one of the most different and original experiences you'll ever have playing a board game. It's a dungeon crawl, but you're not playing cards or using minis to fight monsters. You are flicking discs at monster discs to try to eliminate them, and it's crazy. Nothing says intimidation more than flicking. In Catacombs, most players will play as heroes, and one player will play as the evil overseer controlling the bad guys. Various heroes have different special abilities, like the wizard has spell cards they can use. The main action of each round is flicking these discs and trying to hit the monsters to deal damage. Boom! Got it! This is a game that will have everybody standing up from their seats, invested in the action the entire time. I almost think of this game like a sporting event for board game geeks. You just get really emotionally invested. You flick a disc and it barely misses and you're like, no! Oh, that was so close! Why? Or you flick a disc and you hit it, and then you're just talking trash for like 2 minutes, like, oh, yeah, that's right, overseer. What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? We hit you from the back line because we came to play. Bah, bah, bah.
Well, usually I like to talk about the gaming group, but of course right now gaming groups aren't able to meet like we used to. Hopefully that's about to change soon. But for now, I thought I would do a little series where we talk about some different games in my collection, starting with particular letters of the alphabet. But to make this a little more interesting, we'll do it totally at random. I'm going to take this deck of cards that have letters on them. This is actually from a game called Trophies, a little party game that's a lot of fun, so that I can draw a random letter, and then I'm going to look through my collection and see if I can find a game that starts with that letter and tell you why I like it or don't like it, although I like most of my games. So, and it is the letter M. Well, I found several games that start with the letter M in my collection, but the one that I picked, even though it was a tough choice, I picked Mansions of Madness. So what's so great about this game? Well, I think I can sum it up in one word, and that is theme. This is a game that is dripping with theme. The atmosphere is incredible. You're going into a situation, sometimes a mansion, sometimes even outdoors, wherever, but you're trying to solve a supernatural mystery, and you use an app, so there's kind of mysterious music playing, there's a story that's being told, characters that you can converse with, you have to find clues, you have to figure out what's going on, you have to fight monsters. This is a wonderful game. If by chance you've never played Mansions of Madness, I highly recommend that you find a copy and that you give it a try. This game is a lot of fun. So, for the letter M in my collection, I'm going to pick Mansions of Madness as my favorite game. Hey, thanks so much for watching a Fellowship of Meeples. I hope you had a good time, and we will catch you next time. Enjoy your breakfast.
All right, folks, today we're taking a look at stuff from Momo Monster. I've already taken a look at their stuff before, but hang on, I'm laughing, but you'll see why in a second. They make some really neat stuff. This is a bit dark and dreary. This particular playmat, although they're double-sided playmats, and this is like a thinner playmat, so these aren't as heavy, but this one is pretty cool. I mean, it's Cthulhu-esque. Almost has a feeling of Dark Tower there with the guy in the hat. Here's another mat. This looks like it was one of the T-series games, but Cthulhu is in the background. And then you have this depressing thing, but a very colorful bird there. And then actually, I think this is the most useful of the mats here. This one you could play like Arkham Horror or another card game on it, and has a nice background here. So these are some nice player mats that they have made. Now, not just have they made player mats, but they also make pieces. So we have here tokens for Wingspan, and this includes the Nectar tokens you can see for the latest expansion. Now these are really nice. Now there are other companies out there that make wooden tokens, so there's different things, but I thought these were very reasonably priced for these tokens. I like using these way better than the tokens that are in Wingspan, so these are worth checking out. And finally, the next product has nothing to do with games at all, but it's also from Momo Monster, and it's amazing. And that's these spoon shovels. There's two different kinds of them, and I love these. I don't know what else to say about them. They are spoons, but they're also shovels, and they actually are useful. The round one's probably better, and you can then say that you are shoveling your food down your throat. Although that's usually not done in a very positive way, that phrase. Anyway, I really like these. I think they're fantastic. And if you ever come to the Dice Tower and spend some time with us and we give you some pudding, you'll be able to use one of these to eat it with. Anyway, I thought that was a cool thing. All this is from Momo Monster.
Every time I try to make a video, he's playing with my tools. Anyways, at least he showed us something. Tactical Operations by War Coach Games. You want easy? This is easy. This game was given courtesy to me from War Game Coach, and it's called Tactical Operations from the Up 4 series. You get a one-page rule, 2 decks of cards. On the right-hand side is what you're playing against, and on the left-hand side, your Fraggle cards. They belong to you. Get 'em, Paul, with your Fraggle cards! Firstly, remove from the Up 4 defense card the Close Air Support card. You gotta remove that. Why? Well, you haven't earned the right to use it yet. You gotta be a general. Look, I'm gonna tell you something, and I'm only gonna tell you once. And I'm not even being facetious, because it's easy. You see the left-hand number there, +3? Well, that's your attack strength. You see the right-hand number there, +2? That's the hours you need to spend in the game. You start the game with 20 hours. And you see the middle flavor stuff there? Well, it can mean something, and it can't mean something. But it's light and easy, so just read it. Second, lay down your cards in a 3x3 grid and always start by the bottom right-hand corner. See, the card is skewed for that, huh? Easy peasy. Okay, so you pull out your first Fraggle card, and your Fraggle card, ooh, it's a big one. It tells you it's a 6 attack, but it takes 7 hours off your day. So, why can't you just stop and listen? 20 hours in a game, you subtracted. Well, I am loud. That's because I'm Italian, not because I play war games. The first words I heard when I was born was something like this. Ah, ma quanto è bello sto baby! Frank, coming over here and check out the sta creatura! Quanto è bello sto baby! Okay, so we continue the game. So there, you take out another card, 3 attack doesn't beat 5, but you spent 3 hours. Oh, you pull out another card, 4 attack doesn't beat 5, so you don't win, and you spend 5 hours. 0 hours doesn't beat 5, you spend 2 hours, that's 17. Oh, boom! It's over! And that's him playing solitaire. Can you imagine him playing in a group? So you didn't make general, you can't use the close air support card. You gotta start all over again and build yourself up to general so you can use the close air support card. WarCoachGames.com, check it out, easy peasy lemon squeezy.
If you're wondering what just happened, you are not alone. All right, well, folks, I gotta find something to eat with my little shovel fork, shuffle spoon, shoon, spovel. Anyway, we're still got more stuff coming today, folks. At 10 o'clock, Z will be doing What's Happening, and I'll be back with a live Q&A at noon. There's going to be a contest, a little contest each, live Q&A, so come by and join us for those. I'll also give you a little bit of an update on what we're doing with the moving of the studio, or whatever update I can give. And it's your chance to ask all kinds of questions, so I'll see you then. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast on the Dice Tower.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production.